How far will I get, only giving presents in fire red and leaf green? Delibird, a holiday-esque Pokemon for a festive challenge run. This jolly bird has a tail that resembles a sack and the signature move present. Open another tab and play the Pokemon Christmas Bash in the background, which, if you aren't familiar, imagine Meowth singing Christmas songs. But before we really get started, let me fill you in. Delibird's Pokédex entry outlines that it stores food in its tail-like sack, basically like a certain jolly fat man. Its not so nice list includes a poor base stat total, a weak type of ice and flying, and in my case, a bad nature. Compound all of this with Delibird only learning one move by level up in Generation 3, Present, which is the only move this Delibird will be learning for as long as possible. No items in battle or other Pokemon on the team. How long can I make it only giving out presents? How many attempts will each gym leader take? Who knows? But before we talk about this journey, let's talk about the move Present. Present is like a Christmas gift from your Discord friend. Inconsistent, disappointing, and sometimes it hurts you. But those times when the stars align, it's incredible. Present has a 40% chance to deal 40 base power, a 30% for 80 base power, a 25% chance to heal a quarter of the target's HP, and if the stars align, a 10% chance to deal 120 base power. Now, if that isn't consistent enough for you, then let me present a 90% accuracy. Now with that covered, let's begin with Claws, named after Smogon clauses. It's supposed to be like a double pun or a wordplay. I decided not to reset for a good nature, stats, or ability, so I got a naive Delibird. I really wanted Jolly, but the ability is Hustle, which raises my power by 50% and decreases my accuracy by 20%. We begin our battle with rival Grinch, dealing an initial half damage, then 2 more presents for the knockout, and we're off to a good start. Making my way through Viridian Forest was quick and easy. I pay a quick stop to Nurse Joy, pun intended. We begin our first of many major obstacles, Brock, who I already know will be terrible due to his rock-type Pokemon hitting for 4 times damage thanks to ice and flying weaknesses. Onix and Geodude have an absurdly high defense, and it's mixed with defense curls, so I spend my time grinding before I even make an attempt. At level 10, I think I'm ready, but get obliterated by the first trainer, dealing barely any damage. I stop and spend all of my money before I lose everything. Grind, come back at a higher level, get destroyed. Grind for some more levels, get destroyed. Go insane, get destroyed. Find a nice patch of grass with flowers and contemplate life. I make another attempt at the trainer, get sand thrown in my face, and realize Hustle is terrible. I did decide to XP farm by backtracking to the early Grinch battle, which was quick and easy, and after reaching level 17, I decided 2 presents for fun and to struggle the battle out. But we can now see how bad Hustle accuracy is, combined with Sand Attack leading to another defeat. After long thought and consideration, more grinding will be needed to fight Brock, and I pay a visit to the garden. The guy approaches and says, "When life gets hard, do as you've always done. Struggle." I like grinding the big XP from Geodude, so I complete a mix of present giving to drain the PP, then struggle the Geodude. After a handful of attempts, I decide we're ready for present time, which goes terribly. Again, a few more defeats, and I decided to try and evict this guy from the flower garden. Why would you lie to me? On another run, I get lucky and crit Onix with struggle, but knock myself out in doing so. And finally, a lucky crit on Geodude gets me the 1-hit knockout. Then taking care of Onix with 3 hits, Brock is down. After 14 attempts, we are still using present. I celebrate by having a talk with my friend in the garden. We giggled with glee and talked about how Brock would be the worst of this run. But oh, how we were wrong. Moving forward, Mount Moon posed no issues, so I'm quickly in Cerulean and I get started by fighting Grinch. First run, it's a loss, but a third attempt is a clean sweep, and I'm on to Misty. A couple of tries and we can see the true power of present. Misty goes down in the 4th attempt, and getting a 1-hit knockout on Staryu and Starmie wasn't an issue. Next up is Surge. Not much to say here. Everyone needs a Surge Protector for the extra lights. He went down in the 1st attempt, but it seemed like a dud with present missing over and over. But this Glass Cannon Delibird Claws sweeps once it can see. I like Hustle again. Before we talk about Erica, do me a favor. Close your eyes, imagine you're in a cave, and you can barely see your hand in front of your face. You have to feel through the darkness while being bombarded by battles, and you feel a breeze of fresh air and know that you're close to the exit. But there's an obstacle. Hikers with rock types. Rock Tunnel, an absolute brimstone suffer pit. It's filled with what I'll call Brock Juniors. And I have a true fear of rock types now. The hiker with a Graveler may have been the hardest battle of my life so far, but eventually we did get lucky and passed through. Unfortunately, I didn't count the attempts, but all trainers here are on the naughty list. Can we begin with Erica? Erica did great with paralyzing claws at the start of the battle, mixed the present accuracy odds with a pair of odds, and I was out. I decided to complete the Game Corner arc in the dojo. Giovanni ran me down a few times, even though my name isn't Grandma, so I went to the dojo to level up. The dojo went smoothly with only a few reruns. After this, I was at level 52 and ready to fight Erica. My thoughts are always on, oh, what fun it would be to have a flying or ice type move, and after another bad attempt, I moved to Lavender Town and Grinch. Grinch presented a small threat with Sand Attack, however a second attempt and a clean one-shot on his bird made things much easier. Now the Ghost of Christmas Past all throughout this tower were going to be a different story. Present has no effect, so I resorted to my lifestyle tactic of struggle. Lavender Tower wasn't insane. And then we go back to Erica, who felt a bit lucky but is now completed after 3 attempts. Claus is really doing some work, and by work I mean getting lucky with being paralyzed and 2 hitting everything on her team pretty decently, except for Vileplume who had a potion, but we were able to knock it out. I now push to Koga, who is brutal. Koga's team has decent bulk and the move Minimize, and can easily poison me. In between runs, I was attempting to find an Oddish to get paralyzed so I couldn't get poisoned, but I found a Wild Ditto and it transformed. I would really hate to be that guy. I eventually gave up on the para strat. Either I one-hit KO'd Oddish or just got poisoned myself. And after 10 attempts at Koga, I decided to revisit Silph Co. Grinch being the biggest threat here, having to intimidate users, which is a Claws killer. There was also an attempt where I made it to Alakazam, and ironically it used Recover as much as I healed it. Alakazam ain't so smart after all. And finally I defeated Grinch with some lucky sweeps and now on to Giovanni. Giovanni and Rhyhorn were quite a major threat, resulting in a few defeats. Giovanni has proven once again that anything with rock and sand and defense curls will absolutely destroy this present-loving Deliclaws. And if you are looking for a modern yet medieval torture method, run a Delibird challenge. Experience the pain of sand and rocks being thrown at you. However, clean sweep and Rhyhorn not using Rock Blast, pure luck for my part, made it a breeze. With Saffron opened up, I progressed to Sabrina. I was thinking the low defense stat of her Pokemon would help, and in her gym I accidentally run into a Ghastly, which I couldn't touch, and it easily knocked me out. Then another Ghastly with the same thing, but I was locked into Struggle, and a perfect Destiny Bond knocked me out. Get this guy a present for this play. Past that, Sabrina was cake, completed with 0 damage. This was a very satisfying battle, and the present delivery mission was a success. And now we're back to Koga, who was also proven to be tougher than expected. I get bored and decide to go through the Safari Zone, but because of the amount of defeats, I was broke, and since I'm broke, I had to fight some extra trainers just to get into the Safari Zone. Side note, somewhere along the line, I almost accidentally deposited Deliclaws, and I would love to have done that. I was trying to get the Oddish to para again, but after enough failed attempts and thinking about gambling for Ice Beam, I stayed strong and finally got the perfect run. The first coughing is one shot by present. The difficult muck takes half damage and it attempts to set up another Minimize, but Claws locked in and it is knocked out. The second coughing takes decent damage, Koga heals, and another present one-shots. Then a brawl with Weezing and a very close battle, and it was honestly a surprise that we won. But Koga has been defeated with 21 painful attempts. Going along the path between Koga and Blaine, I decided to fight Articuno, who went down with 2 struggles. And now we're on to Blaine. The first couple of attempts for Blaine ended up being 2-shot by Fire Blast. I just needed to get present to hit decently the first turn, is what I think. But I would show more of this Blaine footage, but unfortunately, it's lost. So let's use our imagination. I walk into Blaine's gym and destroy all of his trainers, then one-shot all of his Pokemon. It was glorious, and I wish I had the footage. Oh wait, I found it. The hard drive. Yes, hard drive. Blaine took enough attempts to allocate his own storage with his name burned onto it. Blaine has decent bulk, and he has 2 Pokemon that both have Intimidate and type effectiveness on his advantage. I think the only thing that's going to make the difference here is luck and many visits to our Oh Nurse Joy. I know we need Delibird to get high enough level to easily take down Growlithe and Ponyta, and then a high roll on the Rapidash, with Arcanine being the major threat. When Arcanine is sent out, that's Claws taking 2 Intimidate since Growlithe gave the first, so we're going to hope for a high roll on present damage and a critical hit, since criticals bypass the attack drops. Later, we get a solid run with Growlithe down, Ponyta down, Rapidash down, each in 1 hit, and this run is filled with hope and I'm so nervous. Then a close call with Arcanine, and it's finally down, which happens, can you guess how many attempts? I won't sugarcoat it, 92 attempts, and Blaine is defeated. A quick tour of the Sevi Islands, and we immediately moved to Giovanni. An early run saw a series of misses on present. A few rounds were extremely close. I don't think the AI likes my massive speed, so it seems to go for Scary Face, and with luck, I see my exit plan. I decided to try Struggle, Grind, and use my rare candies, and Giovanni using Hyper Potions complicates my Struggle strat, because the recoil damage alone, without using items, this battle would be impossible. So I reached level 100, which means I can stand in front of Giovanni, and soft reset for quick battles and luck. Present keeps me from taking recoil and the poison proc from his Nidos. Rockin' defense, man. Put Giovanni down after 48 attempts, each Rhyhorn going down with 2 hits, Dugtrio with 1, Nidoqueen and Nidoking both with 1 hit. And now onto Grinch, who unfortunately has a Rhyhorn. After a few attempts and some lucky damage on Rhyhorn, we passed through. Victory Road was no issues at all, and now we're here at the Elite Four. Joy at the counter, and Claws ready to deliver presents. We begin with Lorelei, who I thought wouldn't be so rough, but Cloyster drains the PP by spamming Protect and Dive. Along with its great defense, it truly is a wall. After so many attempts, I decided Xmas is a thing, so I used an X accuracy. I need freedom. Fight after fight at level 100, needing frequent 10% chances with low accuracy. I caved. So no longer tracking defeats, because I am now using items. But since I'm so close to the end, here's how the rest of it played out. Finally, after beating Lorelei, I was onto my biggest fear when planning this run, Bruno. After several attempts, I caved. Claws will now be known as Krampus. I couldn't take the present rolls to beat 2 Onix and the fighting types that all knew Rock Tomb. It was too much for me to handle, and it would be insane to hope for 5 presents and the potential crits that would be required. I taught Claws Blizzard, and on the bright side, it's a festive, snowy day, with the only intention of using it was against Onix, but once I caved, this run still took 2 more attempts. Agatha was easily swept by Blizzard for Gengars and presents for everyone else. Lance was tough. I had to restore PP to get through the battle and use X items to combat the Intimidate and accuracy issues. With the remaining items I have, the low PP and Struggle only, there would have to be items used one way or another, or just pure solid luck. And with Grinch in my sights, I took time to evaluate the situation and decided that I would use my last elixir to restore present and hope that it was enough. I wanted to run no items in battle with Grinch, but we'll see how that goes. On the first battle, Pidgeot throws a bunch of sand in my face and uses Feather Dance to drop my attack. The second run, I ended up healing it more than hurting. On my third try, I decided using Blizzard would work, and to make it to Arcanine, who can easily 2-hit KO me with fire. Venusaur was also a pretty decent wall here as well, since it wants to spam Growth and Synthesis non-stop until a Solar Beam is a 1-hit KO. Then Alakazam wants to set up Reflect, and then once Gyarados is out, I decided it's time to use Xmas Tactics. A couple of X attacks to recoup, and through luck and holding on to my 30 HP with nothing but pure hope, Grinch has been defeated and Christmas has been saved. Watching Daily Claws be the only entry with nearly 40 hours in-game is insane. Grinch exits to return to his lonely mountain, and I promised Professor Oak that I would use oak logs in my fireplace to stay warm. This run is over. I tried to get as far as I could mentally using present, but I don't think I could handle the Elite Four much longer. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I'm still working on how to tell a good story and have my own personality here. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Also, if you made it to this point in the video, please leave a comment. I would love to know that. Stay awesome, everyone. Until next time.